The job? Killer is dead.
Put the kids to bed cause the killer is dead. Isn't that like a good thing? Yeah, Suda51, the pro wrestling nut and Japanese punk of the industry.
I am Suda51.
What happens when you take the attitude and sword-based combat of No More Heroes with the cel noir and edginess of Killer 7? You get a very intensely stylish combat-oriented hack-and-slash action game, potentially bordering on character action style themes, presenting several complex and gratuitous combat systems and scenarios all in simultaneous execution. In other words, the hypest shit you'll never understand. Compared to Suda's previous release at the time, the bubbly, happy-go-lucky massacre known as Lollipop Chainsaw, Tara Strong in it be damned, Killer is Dead can be seen as the dark side of his genius. Sure, he's known for craziness and over-the-top action, but there's also that subtle, down-to-earth, almost non-sequitur type mysterious tone that somehow makes the game even more over-the-top. This game is often described as a Dark Side 007, right next door to The Dark Side Phil. It's a game where a secret government agency gets hired by clients to assassinate the assassins. Think No More Heroes with the contrast jacked up to the ass.
Fuckhead!
And when I describe the game as dark, I mean that quite literally. This game loves shadows. The shading on the character models and especially their faces is insane at times. Look at this area, it's so dark I can almost see a sad, pathetic man in the background. Or maybe that's just myself. And yet I can still distinguish the detail in all of their expressions, the lines and wrinkles in their faces, how bizarre or straight up serious they look. Though that's probably because of how much you see people's faces being smushed up to the camera. Another thing this game loves, tight camera close-ups almost every time there's a conversation.
Hey man, would you like to go out for a pizza someday? Unfortunately, we can't do that. Also, you're a complete wreck.
So what's happening here exactly? You're Mondo Zappa. You got a Mondo arm, a Mondo heart. You kill dudes for a living, you pick up chicks. Heck, you even own a girl and keep her around just because she makes good soft-boiled eggs.
I then discovered she happens to be pretty good at making soft-boiled eggs, so I'm letting her stay.
Is he like Travis Touchdown? Not exactly. Travis was cool and said a lot of one-liners, but there was always that feeling that he was way in over his head, like he was a goofball nerd attempting to be in a badass story. Mondo here basically fills the mold of the typical badass. Nothing too new, though the way he charms women is second to none in this game, let me tell you.
This job will be done for a one-time discount. The price is your kiss. That ought to be worth more than money.
Then there's the rest of the crew that makes up this supposed crime-fighting organization. He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. And Brian is back because he's just cyborg. Jessica Negri. She is British. And she likes money. And when she doesn't get paid, she's like, how are we gonna get paid? And Brian goes, and Mika, where all she does is run around being the comic relief. You tell her to spill her wine on some dude and she'll do it in a heartbeat.
What do you mean, sir?
Spill your wine on the target, and please make it look natural.
Roger!
The organization uses the combined forces of Mondo and Rainbow Mika to fulfill execution duties made possible by whatever client comes by. It starts off by letting you kill their current executioner. Cheers, Villa. Ah, what's that? You went against the state? Boom. And from there, it takes a very episodic turn. Like anime episode title, you can see the script for all of the cutscenes within this title card. type turn. Yeah, the plot's kind of everywhere, not just cause the earth is bleeding, I mean that's fine, but get this, the first real level takes place in this mystifying optical illusion house, where you feed Alice from Wonderland cupcakes and roses all over the place. The next level, you're in a mansion in the moon! Like geez, what kind of jump is that? It's like we just moon jumped to the last level of the game. And what lies within the mansion at this dark side of the moon? None other than the king of the moon himself, David.
My outfit. Quite fitting.
You can kind of see where this is going. It's your typical Dante, Virgil, Raiden, Sam rivalry going on here, but the fact that his name is David just cracks me up, like, cause believe me, I know my fair share of Davids that have done some pretty crazy stuff. I remember this one time David just picked up a dead fish from the local beach. We all saw him carry it and take a picture with it, only to have some kind of questionable liquid flow out of his hands. The bus driver needed no explanation, as his wetness had already dirtied his bus tickets.
I hope you realize the gravity of executing me.
Killer is Dead is borderline nebulous when it comes to its plot. Granted, it's all episodic, so you get to take in the day-to-day situations more easily, but geez, whenever this game tries to find some coherent thread, it just really dances around with it. There's so many references to the moon's power, the darkness within the moon, a lot of characters reference David, you get the sense that there's some deeper conspiracy going on within the game, but is there any real explanation as clear as day by the end? I don't know. Really, I'm here for the ride, the slick presentation of the bureau conversations, the moment-to-moment strangeness that somehow keeps topping itself. From a candy world to a radio tower, even to the likes of a Japanese garden with samurai references. This game oozes with style and unpredictability. I can't keep my eyes off of it sometimes. And you think the assassin encounters in No More Heroes were cool? Buddy, have you seen this Yakuza with a JoJo tiger stand? Yes, you have. And then, in classic seppuku, and much like my messed up sleeping schedule, he must be put to rest.
Killer is dead.
This other time, David was trying to get MP3s on his phone, so in the middle of tech class, he would just put up his phone recorder to the computer speaker and record songs off of YouTube links. He eventually did buy a song, but instead of the intended Katy Perry's Part of Me, he ended up getting The Part of Me by Ayumi Hamasaki. He was not happy with the transaction. So yeah, this game has style for days, but I guess you could say the combat suits the style, if style somehow equates to a million systems and HUDs going on, punching your face all at once. I mean, geez, starting this game up, it's like, what is that meter? What's this? Why do they have sub-meters? Health is given by diamonds, and blood is given by roses. Both of these can be leveled up. Speaking of blood, it's all you need in this game. You get blood by slashing enemies, you need blood to use your weapons and to pull off those sick execution kills that brings you to an entirely different HUD. Like, geez, what is this? This game goes from subtle to in a split second. Did you maybe pull off Witch Time in Bayonetta or Flurry Rush in Breath of the Wild and thought, it's a bit too slow? Well, how about Mondo Zappa has this metallic arm, and oddly enough, its name is Muscleback. It is said to have 99 secret functions, and a bitch ain't one of them. Getting a plasma gun, a sticky gun, a charge beam, and a drill, super great additions, if not a bit heavy on the hands when you've got this slick third-person combat going on. The movement in this game is just so fast. Mondo dodges like he got out of Take On Me, and when the game just filters the heck out of itself, you know something has happened. Whatever happened. guesses was pretty cool. What you're currently seeing is a playthrough of the game with almost all of the upgrades maxed out. Really, like any action game, it's how you can get the most out of the game's combat. You start out just measly slashing your way through things, but you can get upgrades to do a spin around leading to a screen clearer, or a counter that can act as an enemy launcher for sick air combos, or even unleashing the limits of your katana and making Mondo go batshit with more and more combos. Yeah, I actually love this game's combat. Mashy as heck, but hey, it gives you every opportunity to do something cool at any moment, even if you don't know what you just did. I guess the only real thing holding it back is that enemies are often really defensive. One minute you're hacking your way through them, and at some point they block that stuff, so you gotta punch them back, but then they keep blocking again. At least there's a cool variety of enemy designs, looking cool enough to be Daft Punk wannabes, but just minion-like to make them feasible fodder. I just wish they wouldn't keep blocking all the time. Like, I can get the bigger guys doing that, but even the simplest of enemies holding lamps block. Like, what is this? But it isn't all about hacking dudes and looking cool. Sometimes you just gotta get down and personal with the ladies in this exclusive gigolo mode where the goal is to stimulate your senses while not looking like a pervert or something like that. Now give her a big dumb gift box. Yeah, that's the way to a girl's heart. Brazilian woman, big dumb gift box. Kimono girl, big dumb gift box. Actual real vampire who might potentially suck your blood, give him the big dumb box. Unsurprisingly, Suda51 went through a bit of scrutiny for having such a scandalous and above all meat-headed mode become available in the game, and not unsurprisingly, Suda wanted it to be a bit more elegant and toned down than what it actually came off. It's just that the Japanese publisher needed the sexual stuff to get the game buzzing. Awfully reminds me of the philosophy behind Nier Automata protagonist and local fanart waifu 2B wearing scandalous high heels, and it's just because Yoko Taro likes girls. Nothing more than that, hardly malicious or of any other intent, he just likes girls. And yeah, this mode, it's just silly, it's whatever. The dude literally screams as soon as he starts getting somewhere, and then the girl just gives him a charge cannon for no reason. It's fine.
I never would have imagined wanting you so badly.
A million systems and girls happening all at once, but you'll still have a blast. Killer is Dead is a jack of all trades, of contrast, of confusion, of multiple combat options. It's what I feel was the next big step in evolution from No More Heroes. It's probably the best battle system Suda has done in any game. Heck, this game isn't even that deep in combat, and the plot has like several million plot holes in it, including an ending that to this day, philosophers are trying to comprehend, and yet I still dig the hell out of this game. It's like one of my favorite action games. But unfortunately, the Killer is Dead hype ended up being dead. Reviewers didn't get the action game because they don't get action games at times, and it slowly faded away like an ending that made you go, wow, that was it? Really? You just ended like that? Suda's been getting back on track lately with a brand new take on No More Heroes coming up for the Nintendo Switch. Hype faux show, but I'll always remember Suda as the guy who wanted to make action games different, who experimented and made things mysterious but made up for it with punk and attitude you don't see in a lot of games. And I'll always remember David as that one guy who worked at the stag shop and was asked to locate a bondage kit. To his discovery was found within the contents of a suitcase. He was indeed surprised. Suda51, when Platinum's too busy to make action games rad.
Killer is dead.